Let's just get through the next 64 days. How about that?
The deadliest woman on earth.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to dive into something we've all noticed, but maybe haven't talked enough about. How politicians like Kamala Harris switch up their accents and behavior, depending on the audience, especially when it comes to pandering to the black community.
You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
6.5 hours later.
Thank unions for paid family leave. Thank unions for your vacation time.
Now, this isn't just a Kamala thing. We've seen this from other big-name Democrats like Hillary Clinton and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, too. And we're going to contrast that with someone who, love him or hate him, has pretty much stayed the same throughout, Donald Trump. So let's start with Kamala Harris. Now, if you pay attention, you'll notice she tends to switch it up when she's speaking in certain states, especially southern states or in front of predominantly black audiences. One infamous moment was when she talked about cooking collard greens in a toilet. I mean, who exactly is this supposed to appeal to? It's clear that she's trying to establish some kind of connection with black voters, but that's gross, and I hope nobody's really doing that.
I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So I am not playing around.
It's almost like she's playing a character, and that's a big problem. Because when you pander like this, you're saying that you don't see the community for who they really are. You just see votes. And it's not just Kamala. Remember Hillary Clinton's infamous "I ain't no ways tired" moment? That's another example of a politician completely changing their tone and speech patterns to pander to black audiences. Hillary, who usually sounds more like your typical politician, suddenly adopts a Southern black accent. It's cringeworthy, and what's worse is how transparent it is. The same can be said for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who tends to adopt a different accent when she's in front of certain crowds.
It's what organizing looks like.
That's right.
This is what building power looks like. This is what changing the country looks like. It's when we choose to show up and occupy the room and talk about the things that matter most, talking about our future. You know, Reverend, you bring up a funny anecdote, and I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working retail, folding clothes for other people to buy. There is nothing wrong with preparing the food that your neighbors will eat. There is nothing wrong with driving the buses that take your family to work.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. And the chair of all the mayors in the country, Mayor Palmer from Trenton, New Jersey. I'm aware I may not be the youngest candidate in this race, but I have one big advantage. I've been coloring my hair for years. No. You're not going to see me turn white in the White House.
It's all part of a strategy to relate more to black voters, but really it just feels disingenuous. The question we should be asking is, why do these politicians feel the need to do this? Is it because they don't think their message alone is strong enough? Or maybe they believe this is the only way to secure votes from these communities. Now let's switch gears and talk about Donald Trump. Say what you want about the guy, but one thing you cannot deny is that he stays the same, no matter who he's talking to. Whether it's a room full of business executives, factory workers, or people at his rallies, Trump doesn't change his tone, accent, or demeanor depending on the audience. He's brash, unapologetic, and consistent. He's not trying to be something he's not, And while some people might find him offensive or divisive, at least he's not switching up his act just to appeal to different groups. What you see is what you get. And it's worked for him because people feel like they know who they're getting when they vote for him.
Make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily. I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country.
I think the country is doing so badly, they want somebody that's going to help it. I think the country has never been in a position like it is right now. It's being ripped off by every nation, every intelligent nation in the world, whether it's China. They're taking our jobs, they're making all our product, and then they loan us back the money, we pay them interest.
That is
whether
crazy.
It's OPEC, which is, I mean, they're having a field day right now. How about the Arab League? They say, we want you to go in and attack Libya. These are the wealthiest countries in the world. Why aren't they paying us?
Okay,
Why
so
aren't
then they change their minds also. But you didn't answer my question.
No, I did answer your question. I really think
it
people,
won't matter?
I think maybe 10 years ago it would have mattered, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The fact is, I think people want somebody now that's going to protect them and protect this country, because we're not going to be a great country for long if we keep going the way we're going right now. These people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster. China has taken out of this country $500 billion and more a year. $500 billion. That would go a long way for Poland, wouldn't it? You could rebuild your whole country. And that's what China did. They rebuilt their country with tremendous amounts of money pouring out of the United States. And I've changed that around. Very, very direct with Secretary Stoltenberg and members of the alliance in saying that NATO members must finally contribute their fair share and meet their financial obligations. But 23 of the 28 member nations are still not paying what they should be paying and what they are supposed to be paying for their defense. This is not fair to the people and taxpayers of the United States. And many of these nations owe massive amounts of money from past years and not paying in those past years.
So why does this matter? Well, it matters because pandering shows a lack of respect for the people you're trying to win over. It implies that these politicians think black voters can't see through the act, that they need someone to talk like them in order to feel represented. But that's not how true representation works. Representation means standing for the community's needs and interests, not just switching accents and talking about collard greens in a toilet. In the end, authenticity is key. Voters, especially black voters, deserve politicians who respect them enough to be consistent, genuine, and honest. And while Trump might not be everyone's favorite, you can't accuse him of being anything other than himself. Meanwhile, when Democrats like Kamala, Hillary, and AOC pander, they risk losing the very trust they're trying to gain. What do you guys think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this kind of pandering is as bad as it looks, or do you think it's just part of politics? Let's get the conversation going. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload.
Since when does the vice president have what sounds like a southern accent?
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024.
I have no idea what you're talking about.